after a season of scintillating football in the Betway Premiership, Lise Kazini, because Mamelodi Sundowns, the C means champions. Those numbers, man.
Yeah.
Oh, plus 52 goal difference. That's 65 goals that they scored so far this season. 1 draw, 3 losses, unbeaten at home. The points haul of 73 points in a season that only had 28 games. I don't know what we can say.
Yeah, Bumuzo tried to squeeze all of those numbers.
Yeah, he did.
He did very well.
Last minute.
That plus 52 is just phenomenal. And that's purely down to Ribeiro, Shalolile, Reyners, and the rest of the attacking force, Allende. They've just been awesome this season.
What else surprises you, interests you, shocks you about the top 8?
I think the fact that, well, not a shock, but a pleasant surprise that Stellenbosch, with the squad that they have, has been able to play very well up into the semis in the Confederations Cup and still retain 3rd spot for another go next season. That has been fantastic for Steve Barker and the team.
I think for me, I want to pause it there and look under GD, goal difference.
Yes.
There's only 4 teams that are on plus, and there's 1 on 0. The rest of the league, they're sitting on minus.
What does that tell you?
It tells you, Guti, they're not scoring more than they're conceding. And if you're saying out of a 16-team league, there's only 4 teams that are on plus.
So if I look at what you're saying,
yes,
it means we've got hot strikers, buff defenders. If I'm going to the stadium, that's what I want.
People must score more than they
No, I want to see goals. That's why I'm going.
Yeah, but that's very, like, you look, it's only Sundowns, Pirates, Stellis, Kukune that are on plus. TS Galaxy are on 0.
So the department is Matthew Boots' one. You're a former striker, yours is Nimnandi. Strikers, Shainet, Betway Premiership.
Vimba.
But Thomas, I think it's
the gate is open.
Yeah, I think it's more than that. I think the teams from 15 to perhaps 6th or 7th are quite equal. We've seen it with Richards Bay, for example, how they just needed a couple of wins towards the end of the season, and now they're in the top 8. Like, who would have thought about? Who would have thought that Magesi is another one? So very evenly balanced, and we've actually had this scenario over the last 3 or 4 seasons. It hasn't just been this on this occasion.
You mentioned Kaizer Chiefs, the achievement of winning the cup. I look at the last game of the season and I go, I can't understand how it is that they did not get the 3 points in that game that would have moved Kaizer Chiefs into the top 8. Because the match itself, the opportunities created, it was not a Chiefs that was not trying to score, trying to get the victory. Look at what happens here. Solomons unleashes one. You think if the keeper, for me, if Okoth dives there, which you expect a keeper to do just for show anyway, like, I'm going to dive. If he dives, Matthew scores with that little tap-in header off the ground, but he doesn't. What do you do about a situation like this?
Yeah. Great attacking play from Solomons. He really came to the fore the last couple of games and been very impressed with him. And you're right, if Okoth had dived there...
Then Morris on the floor.
Easy tap-in for Morris. But, you talk about the goal difference. Kaizer Chiefs has hit the woodwork 16 times this season. If they score half of those... so they've been a little bit unlucky. If they've scored half of those, they're into a positive balance.
The unlucky doesn't stop there, and the opportunities created did not stop there against the Polokwane City side that really did struggle to prevent opportunities. They might have not gone in the net, but the opportunities were created. Here, Okoth again with a critical hand that keeps Miguel from having an easy tap-in.
Yeah, but I think if Okoth does not get a touch, it's an easy goal for Miguel. But for me, on the far post, you're expecting Miguel to get at the end of it, but that important touch that Okoth, the goalkeeper, gets in that, it changes the direction of the ball, and that's why it's very difficult for Miguel to be able to get the goal in that moment.
I think this was post number 16 then, if you're counting posts, because here, Solomons again destroys his man, hits the crossbar, comes back outside, and then here, great save, Lilepo attempt, palmed away.
Yeah, unintentional from Solomons, but still creates chaos. Dupree does very well to shape to shoot, and then he plays a very neat ball into Lilepo. Unfortunately, he couldn't get enough power or direction on that one. Well, good clearance. And then I think, Dupree gets a second opportunity, but I think this is actually a good block from the defender on the rotation. Good save from Okoth, just there. there's a great block from the defender. Good defending.
Then look here, on the left foot, he pulls the trigger, Dupree, inside the box. And that's not a bad attempt, man. That is not a bad attempt on your weaker foot.
You have to hit target. He's in the box, hit target, composure. Kaizer Chiefs has created so many chances this season. It's about that little moment, telling a man, is fucking away I seen in that moment. They still rush, and that's one thing that I want to see at Naturena, at the training ground, to say, these opportunities like this, what is Dupree doing at training? Is he putting it in, or is it going over the post? Morris, those crosses that are coming in, is he scoring them at training and missing in the game? That is the big question that I have, that only the Chiefs players can tell us, to say, what's happening at training?
Or you can go. Yeah, check for yourself. No, I'm just saying you can. However, all that aside, it looks like you're not convinced in that game that, you know, enough maybe was done from Kaizer Chiefs to try and win this game. What about a penalty in the last minute? Was this a clear case of last kick of the game, chance to go into the top 8, penalty should have been awarded? What do you think? And we'll look at it here. Villegas is on his bike. Is he inside the box? Is he outside the box?
You know, this has cost Chiefs a place in the top 8. And I think this is a poor decision from the official. I think this is a clear penalty for me. Montosi loses the ball here. You know, he clips. When we see this from this angle, we'll see it clearer. Montosi just gets the wrong side. He cannot help but have a nibble at Shabalala. And in real time, you can see that he clips him. And that's a pen for me, you know. And people now talk about VAR and stuff because it's cost the club money. It's cost them prestige. It's cost them a place in the top 8. But referees ultimately should be getting that right.
I don't know, though, because now when I looked at it there, I looked like the kick might have happened just outside the box. Like, just.
If, Thomas,
does it continue in the box?
Mamela, there's no continuing. You apply continue if it's holding.
Is there a holding?
No, there was a foul, and the foul happens on the line.
Yeah, the line is the penalty.
No, the line belongs to the penalty area.
Yeah.
So it's on the line, so the foul on the line should have, it should be inside. It's a penalty. It's a penalty all day because the touch happens on the line. And
is
when
there
it
a
happens
hand
on the line,
there? Are we not seeing a hand?
The line belongs to the area that you are about to go in. And that's why I'm saying it's a clear penalty. It happens on the line. The referee should have awarded a penalty. Is there contact on Villagazi? There is contact on Villagazi. He's brought down in that instance. Penalty all day.
Whether it's in or out, the fact is the official didn't give it. You know, and that to me, it was a clear clip on the leg. So.
Give me this. What kind of season did Chiefs have? What should Chiefs fans be feeling? And that big decision on what should happen next?
A lot of inconsistent play during the Premier League. Great cup run where they knocked out 3 of the top 5, which they didn't manage to do in the league where it counted most. So naturally the cup, I think, saved them big time. And this gives them momentum going into the next season, which is all important now.
Next season, is it Baba Nabi that should continue the project that he started?
He's the only one that got the mandate at Kaizer Chiefs when he arrived. And we don't know what the mandate was when Nabi arrived at Kaizer Chiefs. But what we know is that when Nabi arrived at Kaizer Chiefs, they were outside the top 8. I can imagine that a club as huge as Kaizer Chiefs, the mandate would be improve us from what we did last season. To improve them would have been for them to get to the top 8. To improve them would be them winning a trophy. But for me, you are looking at what he has delivered and say, okay, he delivered a trophy, 1 tick. He didn't deliver top 8. You put a cross. So the management of Kaizer Chiefs, the people that hired Nabi and gave him the mandate should be the ones that give us.
But you both watched the team, and you've watched the progress made over the season. What do you think?
I think, like, I've seen a number of teams lose a number of their back 4, for example. I put a lot of emphasis on defense, and that can be very disruptive. From Chiefs' point of view, that's also happened, but up front, that's where it's really tripped them up. The project Chivaviro has not worked out. They've brought in Morris. Dupree's been injured. At times, all 3 of them haven't been available, so you've had to play with Duba and Shabalala, you know, 2 youngsters up front playing as sometimes false 9s. So they haven't had consistency up front, and I think their wide players, and particularly Lepo, has been a great success for me. So there have been pockets of success that they can work on for next season.
Let's not forget they're playing CAF Confederations Cup next season. That's another competition that's going to require goals. It's going to require depth when you have injuries. That's now going to be added on top of what we looked at this season. And some of the factors that you mentioned means that, you know, the checkbook is going to have to be open.
I think when you're looking at the following season that is about to start next season, you have to look at Coach Nabi and say, this season, did he have enough time to really put a team together? How much did he know about South African football? Now he has seen South African football, won a trophy. He knows which players to recommend, or the management can recommend players, and he will know about those players now because he has played against some of those players now. In terms of signing, they will need to strengthen a little bit because they're going onto the continent. It's not going to be easy having to be flying out to play on CAF competition, come back, play the league, play the other local competitions. So it's about what players are Kaizer Chiefs going to give to the coach. What type of players does he want to sign? Will he get his wish list? That is Coach Nabi. He said here on the show to say he has got a wish list. If he doesn't get that wish list, he needs a meeting. He said on the show.
I think one of the biggest problems at Chiefs, and I've said it many times before, is that their player recruitment hasn't been up to standard over the last decade. You've seen signs of improvement over the last couple of seasons, but when you hollow out an organization, never mind football, any organization, it does great damage. And you're not going to recover in one season. It takes many seasons to recover. So Nabi, when they do get the checkbook out, Nabi has to have a say. If he's going to be the coach, he has to have a say in the process. And their player recruitment has to be to the Chiefs' quality, the Chiefs' standard, especially now that they're going to go on the continent.
Right,